Well, welcome to www.happynumbers.org. Today, we're going to talk about multiplication of decimals. We've worked on addition of decimals and subtraction of decimals. Today, we're going to talk about multiplying decimals. And multiplying decimals is a fairly simple skill. Let's take this problem. Multiply 1 47/100 times 3/10. Well, the first thing we do is we set the numbers up so that we can multiply them easily. So 1 47/100 times, times 3/10. So now we've set them up so we can multiply them easily. And for now, we don't pay any attention to the decimal sign. We just multiply the numbers. So let's go ahead and multiply. 3 times 7 is 21, and I'm going to carry 2. 3 times 4 is 12, and 12 and 2 is 14. I'm going to carry the 1. 3 times 1 is 3, and 1 is 4. Okay, well now I've done the multiplication. Now, I go back to each of my numbers and I count the number of decimal places. So we always start here at the right and we count. Well, this has 1, 2 decimal places, and this has 1 decimal place. So that gives us a total of 3 decimal places, and we just start right here on the right side and we count 3. 1, 2, 3. And we put our decimal point there. And that's all there is to multiplying decimals. So, just a quick review of that. When we're multiplying decimals, we write the problem in the form so that we can multiply. We don't pay any attention to the decimal points at the beginning, and we just multiply the numbers. And once we're done multiplying, then we count the number of decimal places in each of these numbers. Well, this has 2, and this has 1, so that's a total of 3, and we go 1, 2, 3. And that is our answer. So if we multiply 1 47/100 times 3/10, we get 441 thousandths. So let's take a look at a couple of problems, see if we can work these. I'll do one more and then let's take a look at this problem. 6 times 1 8/10. Well, let's write the problem so that we have it in a form where we can multiply. Well, we have 1, we'll put 1 8/10 on top, and the whole number 6 here. And we're going to multiply. So, we don't pay any attention to decimal places here. And by the way, notice this is a whole number. So there is no decimal place here, so this has no decimal place. But let's do the multiplication first. 6 times 8 is 48. Whoops. Put down the 8, carry the 4. 6 times 1 is 6, and 4 is 10. Now, I go back up and I count the decimal places in each number. Well, in here I have 1 decimal place. I have no decimal places here, so I only have 1 decimal place. So our answer is 10 8/10. 10 8/10. Okay, so I'm going to put a couple of problems up here. Let you do the multiplication, and then we will take a look at them. Let's try this one. 9 2/10 times 4/10. We'll put the video on pause, work the problem, and then turn the video back on and we'll go over it. Okay, good. Well, let's write the problem in a form that will be easy for us to multiply. 9 2/10 times 4/10. We do the multiplication. We don't pay any attention to the decimal places yet. 4 times 2 is 8. 4 times 9 is 36. Now we count our number of decimal places, starting here. In this number we have 1 decimal place, and in this number we have 1, so that's a total of 2. So we start here, 1, 2. So our answer is 3 68/100. Good, well let me put another one up. Let's take a look at a problem like this. I want to work this one with you, and then I'll put one up like this. All right, we have 8/100 times 7/10. So first we write it in a form that we can multiply. I'm going to put this on top because it has the two numbers. Times 7/10. Well, we do our multiplication first. As we know, we don't pay any attention to the decimals. So 7 times 8 is 56. I'll put down the 6, carry the 5. 7 times 0 is 0, and 0 plus 5 is 5. Well, okay, now I'm done. Now I go back up and I count my decimal places. Well, here I have 1, 2 decimal places, and here I have one more that makes 3. So when I come here and count, I have 1, 2, 3. Well, I have an extra space, so I have to put a 0 filler in. A 0 filler. So now our answer becomes 56 thousandths. So 800 times 7/10 is 56 thousandths. That's the thing we have to remember here is we get this as an answer, and when we count our decimals, it's 1, 2, 3, and we go 1, 2, 3, decimal point here, then a 0 has to go there. Well, let's try a problem like that. Let's try this problem. 38 thousandths times 4/10. Put the video on pause and work this problem, and then turn it back on and we'll take a look at it. Right, let's see here. We'll put it in a form so we can multiply. 30, oops, my bad. Sorry about that. Times 4/10. Well, we know we do the multiplication first. 4 times 8 is 32, and I'm carrying a 3. 4 times 3 is 12. 13, 14, 15, put down the 5, carry a 1. 4 times 0 is 0, and 0 plus 1 is 1. All right, now if I count my decimal places, I have 1, 2, 3, 4. And if I come here, I go 1, 2, 3, 4. Decimal here, so I have to put the 0 in. So 38 thousandths times 4/10, the answer is 152 10,000ths. 152 10,000ths. Let's take a look at this problem. 4 8/10 times 5/100. Put the video, well no, let me work this problem with you. I'll work this one with you. Put it in a form so that we can multiply. There's this reason I want to work this one with you. It's a sort of a little special case. All right, we forget about the decimal points and we multiply. 5 times 8 is 40. Carry the 4. 5 times 4 is 20, and 4 is 24. And then, of course, 0 and 0, that makes no difference, so we don't multiply that. So now we count our decimal places. 1, 2, 3. And now in our answer we go 1, 2, 3. So we get 240 thousandths. Well, we can take this 0 off because it really doesn't matter. So 24 hundredths is our answer. So in the problem before this, we had to add a 0 because we didn't have enough places. Well, in this kind of a problem, when you get a trailing 0, a 0 at the end, you can just take the 0 away. Well, excellent. Here's a problem for you to try out on your own. Put the video on pause, work the problem, and then put the video back on and we'll go over it. Okay, let's see. Let's put it in its form. Times 6/10. So we have 7 and 12 hundredths times 6/10. Well, let's do our multiplication. 6 times 2 is 12, carry the 1. 6 times 1 is 6 and 1 is 7, nothing to carry. 6 times 7 is 42. Okay, now we have done our multiplication. Now we'll count our decimal places. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. So our answer is 4 and 272 thousandths. Excellent. Excellent. Let's try, put another one up for you. This will be the final one. 9 thousandths times 5 hundredths. Okay, put the video or DVD on pause. Solve the problem and then turn it back on and we'll take a look at it. All right, let's write it in a form we can work with. 9 thousandths times 5 hundredths. Let's do our multiplication. 5 times 9 is 45, carry the 4. 5 times 0 is 0, plus 4 would be 4. 5 times 0 is 0. Okay, well, we're done. So now we have to count our places. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have 5 places. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Whoa. So in this instance, we have to put 2 zeros in as placeholders. 2 zeros in. Okay, quick review. If we're multiplying decimals, here we have a decimal 400 times a whole number, which has no decimal here. All we do is put it in a form that we can multiply. We don't pay any attention to the multiplication, to the decimal. We do the multiplication. 9 times 4 is 36, carry the 3. 9 times 0 is 0, and 0 plus 3 is 3. Then we count our decimal places. Well, we have 2 decimal places here. We have no decimal places here. So we count 2, 1, 2. And that's all that's to multiplication of decimals. Very good. Thank you very much.